after President Trump issued that threat, the Colombian president thought he could go halfway. He said, oh, I'll accept this flight, but not future flights and none of your other demands. And President Donald Trump said, sorry, not good enough for us. We will proceed as planned. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been incredible throughout this process, by the way. He was 10 out of 10 yesterday, and Marco Rubio deserves a lot of credit. He was behind the scenes, kind of being a little bit of good cop. Understand, Marco Rubio speaks fluent Spanish. So while this was ongoing, Marco Rubio was likely, I can almost say certainly, I don't have this factually known, but on the phone speaking Spanish to the Colombian government saying, are you guys out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? What are you doing exactly? President Donald Trump has come in with salvo. An economic tomahawk missile is what he was doing. And Marco Rubio was diplomatically speaking to them as the Secretary of State, of which he should do, by the way, saying, you guys are loco. Muy loco. Stop it. So the Colombian government, for about a 3 to 4 hour period, thought, and I have a theory as to why, that they could win this standoff. The Colombian government was probably getting some advice by American-funded NGOs or Democrat senators or staff or some allies or associates saying, dig in. You can be the international resistance. This is our moment. And the argument that people like AOC were making on Twitter, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, was that Americans really want their coffee, their Colombian coffee, and this will break them. Listen, first of all, there's other countries that we get coffee from, number one. Number two, Colombian coffee isn't that good. Number three, if Americans want coffee, Colombians want a lot more than just coffee. They are wholly dependent on the American economy. So they tried to dig in. So what did President Trump do? He started implementing the policy. This is where it got to be so smart. Where President Donald Trump started to actually implement his threat. The U.S. Embassy in Bogota started issuing visa cancellations in real time. President Donald Trump said, effective now will be a 50% tariff. You guys want to play around? You think you can stand up to us? By the way, let's be perfectly clear. What was our ask? For those out there that say, oh, you shouldn't just bully other countries, hold on a second. What was our ask? Were we saying that we wanted access to their natural gas or minerals? No, it was a very crisply delivered inquiry. Will you take back your people that you sent to us? They belong to you. These are Colombian passport holders. These are passport holders of the Colombian government. Not that complicated. And just think about this for a second. Colombia is refusing to take their own people. Carrie Lake from Voice of America, as she assumes leadership there, she should, again, she's kind of the international media arm of the American government. If I'm a Colombian citizen and I travel to Germany and I get in trouble in Germany, will the Colombian government receive me in return? The rank and file Colombian citizens should be outraged about this, that their own Colombian government won't take their own citizens when they're returning. That their own Colombian government will say, sorry, you're not allowed back into your homeland. I mean, if that's not a breakdown of the social contract, I don't know what is, but we know what's really going on here. We know what's going on. That these are bad hombres. These are the worst of the worst. And Gustavo Petro, the socialist who runs Colombia, is upset that he now has to take care of his own people. Guess what? Playtime is over. America is no longer the dumping ground of the third world. Now, I will say the Democrats would have a really strong point here. The Democrats would have an overwhelmingly strong point here if all of these leaders were celebrating the return of these people. If Gustavo Petro would throw a parade when these people landed in Bogota, you just say, okay, maybe the Democrats were not right, but at least they have a strong argument that these people are worthwhile having in a country. No, it's the opposite. They're doing the opposite of a parade. They're doing a blockade. They're trying to block the entrance of their own citizens to come back into their country. They want nothing to do with them. They want no association. They believe them to be dangerous existential threats to their country. So President Donald Trump starts to implement this policy. And the president of Colombia probably said, I'm going to be this stubborn person. In fact, he said, if you've ever met somebody stubborn, I am the most stubborn person that you could possibly meet. President Donald Trump says, okay, we're America, you're Colombia, we have cities that are wealthier than your entire country. We're done. And within hours, the knee was bent. Terms of surrender were brokered. And just like that, in one day, Colombia and Gustavo Petro conceded to every single demand of the United States government. This is big, everybody. This is big. We have not seen a president act like this in my lifetime. George W. Bush would never do this. Barack Obama, and Biden, of course not, but the entire Biden staff, what Donald Trump did was mean. And more importantly, what Donald Trump did was masculine. The Biden regime was one of toxic femininity, feelings-based. Well, we can't offend the Colombian people. We can't tell them what to do. They might get upset with us. No, the new ascendant masculine energy that is taking over the federal government in the best possible way is, no, we call the shots. We're not going to allow our country to be a dumping ground. Playtime is over. Dad is home. The statement writes as this last evening. After all of this, the 6 steps, Trump sends the flights, they refuse. Trump issues the threats, they dig in. Trump implements the threats, and then they capitulate. It is full capitulation. Quote, the government of Colombia has agreed to all of President Trump's terms, including the unrestricted acceptance of all illegal aliens from Colombia returned from the United States, including on U.S. military aircraft without limitation or delay. Based on this agreement, the fully drafted IEEPA tariffs and sanctions will be held in reserve and not signed unless Colombia fails to honor this agreement. Let me just pause. This is a sword of Damocles hanging over the Colombian government. They have to accept all of the narco criminals, all of the child sex traffickers, all of the illegals, or else tariffs will be issued at any time. The visa sanctions issued by the State Department and enhanced inspections from Customs and Border Patrol will remain in effect until the first plane load of Colombian deportees is successfully returned. Today's events make clear to the world that America is respected again, and President Trump will continue to fiercely protect our nation's sovereignty, and he expects all other nations of the world to fully cooperate in accepting the deportation of their citizens illegally present in the United States. We are behaving like a country with dignity. We took decades of abuse because we were ruled by people who hate Americans. And Gustavo Petro just happened to be in the middle of it. And now you better believe that there are meetings happening all across the region. In fact, we have this document from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation from Honduras, an urgent, extraordinary meeting of presidents and heads of states of CELAC, C-E-L-A-C, which I believe is the Council of Latin American Countries. And agenda items, migration, environment, and Latin American and Caribbean unity. In this regard, it is reported that said meeting has scheduled in a hybrid format. It is also worth noting that His Excellency Gustavo Petro Urrego, president of Colombia, incoming PPT of CELAC, has confirmed his participation in this call. And the Caribbean, which includes Haiti. So all of the regional actors are now meeting today saying, oh my goodness, we have to accept our own people. We have to accept our own people that we tried to dump on America. I want you to just to think how perverse and sick this is, that these countries are freaking out, that they have to steward their own people. They thought that they could just leave them at the doorstep of America. They thought they could dump them into your neighborhoods, dump them on your college campuses where they murder people like Laken Riley and Rachel Morin. They thought they could dump them into the interior of the United States. And now all of a sudden, it's coming back. They're coming back, and they don't know what to do about it. What is the counter argument from the Democrats? Well, here's the great J.D. Vance, who was just phenomenal this weekend. He's looking more and more like he might be the 48th president of the United States. Let's play cut 18.
By immigrants.
Well, this is a country founded by...
country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
As J.D. Vance clearly says, we don't have to have the dumbest immigration in the world. We are back, everybody. We are back. President Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and the entire team put on a masterclass, the likes of which we've never seen.